I'm about to talk about a video game that made me cry, but that doesn't stop it from being bullshit. Endling Extinction is Forever is a video game published in 2022. Made by the small Hero Beat Studios in Spain, the game tells the story of a mother fox protecting her cubs amidst a man-made dystopia. The player must struggle through a harrowing journey, avoiding desperate humans, forest fires, and more in a kill-or-be-killed fight for survival. However, departing from escapist fantasies like The Last of Us that allow players to engage with a dystopian setting from a comfortable distance, Endling makes it clear that this is our future, if humanity continues treating the environment the way it does. In that sense, we can call Endling Extinction is Forever an eco-game, which the editors of the Ecogames collection define as serious games that aim to raise environmental awareness and educate players about the values of sustainability, but also more artistic, independent works and initiatives that use elements of game design to question human and environment relations, not to mention more popular games that are designed for entertainment, but which simulate environmental challenges, and even extremely commercial games can be read as eco-games if they reflect, either thematically or in terms of premise or setting, the fraught socio-environmental conditions of the present. So, in other words, an eco-game is an extremely broad term for any type of game that somehow reflects environmental themes. Obviously, Endling does this in spades. The game opens with our fox character having to make its way through a forest fire that was clearly caused by humans. The main antagonist in the game is the Furrier, a human searching desperately, even going so far as to kill other humans for animal matter. There's even an implication that pollution has caused conditions to deteriorate to the point that human life can't be sustained. Given all this, players of the game are very likely going to at least consider the environment while playing. And broadly, that's a good thing. But here's the catch. While Endling is undoubtedly a gripping and emotionally challenging experience, it's also complete bullshit. Now, to be clear, that's not intended as an insult to the game, which is really special and genuinely moving. Rather, bullshit should be understood in the context highlighted by Harry Frankfurt. In his book, On Bullshit, he suggests that the bullshitter is not a liar, but rather someone that conveys a certain impression of themselves without concern for truth. From what I've been able to find after researching Hero Beat Studios and its founders, this is largely what's happening with Extinction is Forever. Although the game browbeats players about the environment and animal suffering, from what I can tell, and I hope I'm wrong, the studio reinvested the success of Endling into creating a new game, rather than into any environmental cause. As such, although the game conveys an impression of environmental concerns, it could be said that it's not actually interested in making real contributions to challenging climate collapse. Taking this to the extreme, if we compare Endling Extinction is Forever to games where the developers have actually tried to raise money for charities and preservation work, there's a good case to say that Angry Birds is more environmentally minded than Endling, not to mention many other eco-games. There's a chance this is unfair, but it really comes down to the potential benefits of raising awareness. In an earlier publication on eco-games by a leading author in the field, Alenda Chang, it's somewhat implied that raising awareness is almost a goal in itself. There's a loose hope that by raising awareness, good actions might follow. However, current evidence doesn't really suggest that's the case. In academia, this conundrum, where increased awareness doesn't necessarily lead to increased action, is called the intention-behavior gap. It's actually a problem in many areas besides environmentalism, but recently, reflecting on missed climate targets, in spite of the body of media and charity work whose intentions were raising awareness, a lot of research is being done to try and check if any of it's having an impact. Somewhat distressingly, there's even a case to say that the intention-behavior gap is being amplified by the way research works. You see, the majority of research projects are expected to be completed within relatively short timescales, often less than a year, and only rarely more than 2 years. As such, when researchers look for evidence that people are changing their behaviors because of something they've been exposed to, researchers look for things that can be easily quantified and measured, like doing surveys and questionnaires. This tends to provide a skewed picture of how much impact research is having. In a recent paper on the intention-behavior gap, researchers suggested that this needs to change, that more longitudinal studies need to be undertaken, that study participants for a long time to test whether education is really having a lasting effect. However, this would be really difficult to implement, as it would require enormous changes to the infrastructure that supports the education industry. In other words, because we know that being informed doesn't always lead to action, it's possible that raising awareness is just low-hanging fruit for corporations wanting to project an image of goodness, as well as for the well-meaning but desperate academics struggling for their next paycheck. Endling could be labelled a facet of this larger societal problem, in which green messages are adopted and exploited for commercial and critical gains. Greenwashing and Greensploitation are big problems because they cheapen the impact of calls for environmental change. Although it's only in its early stages, research is being done that suggests overexposure to ecological themes is having a detrimental impact on the likelihood of children actually doing anything about our deteriorating natural world. Given all this, it's possible that Endling Extinction is Forever, for all its deep and serious messages about climate and the end of humanity, isn't actually doing anything to fix the problems it identifies, and could actually be making things worse. To my mind though, the real problem here isn't just well-meaning but ineffectual games made by small studios making humble profits from environmental themes. If we go back to the definition of eco-games set out in academia right now, you'll note that it doesn't include games that are actually raising money for or instigating actions that could help as a buffer against climate change. To me, that's really frightening, as it suggests that an entire field of academics may also be, unwittingly, complicit in the type of corporate spin that's usually associated with big business. Hi there, so look, again, I hope that everything in the video was clear. I think this game is amazing, I love it so much. I think the studio are fantastic and I wish them all the best of success with their next game. I don't really think that the problem is the game or the game studios. I think that it's a wider societal issue of greenwashing, particularly in academia, that we need to watch out for. But what do you think? Am I being too harsh on the game? Am I being too harsh on academics? Thank you to everybody that's commented recently on the last video. Hopefully I hear from some of you again. Let me know what you think. As I said before, your opinions are more important than mine. So yeah, hope to hear from you soon. Bye-bye.